Because remember, I told you, when your stress hormones are elevated, your brain thinks you're in danger. So when you interrupt the pattern of spiking your cortisol every day, first thing in the morning, you are then teaching your nervous system, hey, boo, we're safe. No need to panic. No need for my rapid thoughts. No need for the anxiousness. We're safe. No, 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 no. I'm going to lay here and I'm going to be still. Yep. I am going through the mental things of all the things I need to do today. But you know what? I'm not going to give it my energy right now. I am going to ignore it. I'm going to take back the power from my thoughts. I'm going to take back my power from the world that's demanding all of me.
Welcome to the Radical Obedience Podcast, where clarity meets courage and surrender becomes your strategy. I'm your host, Lisa A. Smith. Over the years, people have told me, Lisa, you're the forever voice in my head. At first, I wasn't sure how to take it, but then I realized they weren't talking about me. They were talking about the questions I leave them with, the perspective shifts they can't unhear. So if you ever needed a forever voice in your head that reminds you to choose peace over performance, purpose over pressure, and surrender over control, welcome home. If you're a leader, entrepreneur, or high achiever who looks successful on the outside but feels overwhelmed, exhausted, or unfulfilled on the inside, this podcast is for you. Each week, we'll explore how complete surrender can help you eliminate chronic stress and burnout, gain clarity, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. Because in a world obsessed with control, the greatest transformation often begins when we finally let go. Welcome to the Radical Obedience Podcast.
Okay, so it was several years ago, and I had just landed in New York for the Vegan Women's Summit. The Vegan Women's Summit is an annual event that really highlights women in the plant-based world. And this event was one I had been really looking forward to. And I got into New York pretty late, and I got to my hotel. And of course, I'm checking into my hotel. You guys know how this stuff works. And I didn't have a car. I had used, a Uber transportation. And I get up to the front desk. I'm like, hey, checking in, give my name. And she's looking for the reservation. And she says, I don't have a reservation for you. And I'm like, no, 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 check again. I have the confirmation. I'm looking at the confirmation email. And she's like, I can't find a reservation. And so I'm like, well, there must be a problem. And so she's like, well, let me see your confirmation. Let me see the confirmation number, all of these things. So I provide that information to her. I give her the confirmation number, all of that stuff. And she's like, oh, I found the reservation. It looks like it was canceled. And I was like, canceled? Why was the reservation canceled? And she's like, well, it looks like, we tried to charge your card. It didn't go through. We tried another time. It didn't go through. And so when it doesn't process, we automatically cancel your reservation. And I'm like, what? She was like, did you get like a fraud alert or something from your bank? Because sometimes that's what happens and that's what prevents the charge from going through and things like this. And I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that a few days ago. I think I got busy. I ignored it, whatever it was. Either way, right? I didn't let the bank know like this was a authorized charge. And so the charge didn't go through when the hotel tried to charge. And as a result, the reservation was canceled. Okay. So here we are. It's like 8, 9 p.m. at night. I'm in the middle of Tribeca in New York City. I need a hotel for this summit that I'm in conference for and in town for. And they're like, we have no reservation for you. And I'm like, no problem. But I had a reservation. So let's get a room. Let's get this going. And she was like, well, unfortunately, we're fully booked. Right. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, I don't have a car. It's nighttime. I got to be up early for this event. I'm going to need a room and I'm going to need it here. And she insists, we're fully booked. There's another conference in town. We're fully booked. And I insist, I get that. It's totally cool. I'm sure there's something that we can work out. And she's like, well, I'll be right back. Let me talk to my manager. I'm like, perfect, no problem. I'm here for it. I mean, no raised voice, no attitude, no nasty energy. I'm very much like, it's all good. I understand what you're saying, but here's what I'm saying. She's like, we have a room, but the only room available is like the penthouse. It's like this much money, whatever. And I'm like, no, I just need a regular room and I'm going to need it tonight. I don't have anywhere to go. I got my luggage right here. I am not about to walk the streets of New York City looking for another hotel. I'm going to need a room here like I originally booked. I understand the charge didn't go through. Here's my card. Let's pay for it now. And it was a whole thing, right? But I was talking to her the way I'm talking to y'all now, like super chill, everything's cool, everything always works out for me type of energy. And she's like, I'll be right back. She goes and talks to her manager. They do what they need to do. I'm super chilling, right? There is no animosity. There is no anger. There is no irritation. I'm chilling. I'm like, okay, see you when you get back, right? And she comes back and says, all right, we're able to work something out. We can get a room for you. We can get you all settled. Miss Smith, your room number is going to be room 535. Here's your key. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I said, thank you. I went to my room and I went to bed to prepare for the Vegan Women's Summit that week in New York City. And that was the moment that I knew that all of my meditation practices, all of my mindfulness practices that I have been doing for a while consistently was working. It is the moment that I surprised myself. There was a disruption in my piece, or what could have been a disruption in my piece. And the way I handled the entire exchange, the entire transaction, was evidence to me that all of the work I have been doing on my subconscious mind, all of the personal development work I have been doing around not letting circumstances control me, we can control how we react. We can decide that everything always works out for us. We cannot panic. We have the option not to think in lack. We have the option not to have an attitude and pop off on another human who's trying to figure out their life too, right? We have all of these options. We have all of this free will to navigate circumstances like this with ease and peace and calm and, most importantly, kindness. And in this moment, I did that, and I did it naturally. And I was shocked. And I was like, oh, snap. This stuff that I've been doing every day, 10 minutes of mindfulness, 10 minutes of doing the work to restore and regulate my nervous system, has me becoming a totally different person. And that was the moment I knew, oh, snap, I done broke the code. This is a game changer, because how many of us go through life every single day with things that have the potential power to threaten our peace and threaten our calm? And we always have an option in that moment to choose how we react, how we respond, whether we're going to activate faith or fear, whether we're going to activate kindness or nastiness, whether or not we're going to be super chill or super anxious. Like, we have an option. And the good news is, it doesn't matter how you were born. It doesn't matter what your DNA or your genetics say. There is a practice that you can utilize on a regular basis to ensure you're on the more positive side of this equation. Welcome to Monday Morning Keynote with yours truly, Coach Lisa A. Smith. I specialize in helping individuals like yourself, leaders, entrepreneurs, go-getters, eliminate chronic stress and activate what we like to call around here radical obedience. I am the founder of a community called Clarity, and I am the founder and creator of a concept called radical obedience, which is the antidote to chronic stress. Now, one of the things that I practice regularly to make sure I have a regulated nervous system, to make sure that stressors in the world don't constantly pull me out of character, is daily meditation and mindfulness. And one of the things I want to break down for you today is the science of stillness. Why doing less helps you to perform better. Now, this will be what we're going to call part 3 of a series that I've been teaching for the last couple of weeks on why, as a high performer, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, you're chronically stressed, right? So in part 1, I told you that you're burned out and overwhelmed due to an overactive nervous system. In part 2, I told you that the reason you were burnt out and overwhelmed is because of several different POV, point of views, different perceptions you have about your circumstance. So last week during Monday Morning Keynote, I broke down 3 or 4 different perspectives that are probably driving your burnout. Okay, your perspectives about how you look at business, how you look at productivity, how you look at efficiency, how you look at success, right? And I broke down why those perceptions were constantly keeping you in a burnt out, overwhelmed, chronically stressed state. Today, in the third part of this series, I'm going to share with you how a consistent practice in stillness and meditation aids in completely rolling back that overactive nervous system, helps to regulate it. I'm going to tell you the science behind it, and I'm going to break down the unique process that we use inside of our community to help individuals get back to baseline so that when you show up to the next hotel in Tribeca in New York City asking to check in for you in your room and they tell you your room no longer exists, you are too able to navigate a circumstance like that with complete calm and unanxiousness. That's not even a word, unanxiousness, with no worry and ease, and most importantly, kindness, right, with other humans in the world. A lot of us are navigating the world in one of the most dangerous states, which is an overactive nervous system. So at any given moment, we are at the whim of our emotions. At any given moment, a lot of us don't have enough emotional regulation because we're burnt out and overwhelmed. We don't have enough emotional regulation to navigate these circumstances in a healthy way. As much as we want to, we literally want to be kind. We want to navigate things with ease. We don't want to let one little hiccup in the day throw us off. However, we physically are so exhausted. We physically are so burnt out and tired. We physically are so overwhelmed that we don't have the capacity to control our emotions. So I'm going to teach you the practice I've used to do that and the science behind it. All right. So if you have your emotional support beverage, drop it in the chat today. I am excited to hear what y'all sipping on in preparation for this conversation. I got some dope testimonials I want to share with you guys, some stuff I want to read to you guys. And it's pretty amazing to talk through and look through these different experiences that people are having as they're practicing this stillness. Shout out to Tamika. She says she has jasmine tea this morning. Love it. Love it. I put fresh ginger in my tea today, y'all. Feeling real good. So warm. CY Allen 25 on Instagram says warm water. Love it. Do you guys know that room temperature water is the best type of water to consume when you want to regulate your GI system, right? Your gastrointestinal system. It is so healthy. So we teach the health part of our protocol when we're helping people eliminate chronic stress. There is a physical health protocol, and we teach the importance of the hydration and starting your day with 25 ounces of water. And ideally, that water should be room temperature or warm. Now, I learned that. I love telling y'all the science about where I learned stuff. I used to live in China. And in China, I remember going into the restaurants and like ordering dinner, ordering lunch. And when you order water, it would never be cold. It will always be room temperature or even hot. And finally, I started exploring this with my Chinese colleagues. I'm like, what's up with this room temperature hot water? Like, your girl want cold water. And they're like, oh no, it's better for your digestive system. And so then that's when I started studying and looking into it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So when you start your day, top of the day, with some warm water or some room temperature water, it really helps to detoxify the body, helps with elimination, it helps with hydration, and it just helps it do it quicker. So there's nothing wrong with cold water, but if you're talking about the best, optimal, then warm or room temperature is best. Okay. So today I'm going to teach you guys, ideally within an hour or less. Okay, y'all pray for me. I'm going to teach you the solution that I've personally used to completely regulate my nervous system to combat chronic exhaustion, chronic stress, and to make sure I'm in the best mental state and emotional state as a leader and as an entrepreneur, as a producer who's constantly producing content, who's constantly producing curriculum, who's constantly producing podcasts, who's writing a book, like all of these things. A lot of times we're trying to do these amazing things from these less impressive nervous systems, right? And so it's not a healthy place to be, especially consistently. So if you are in a season of burnout, if you are I've noticed you've just been in a cycle and pattern of getting burnt out, recovering, and then exhaustion again, and pushing yourself constantly past your upper limits, then I am going to propose to you that you lean into what I teach today. So we're going to discuss what chronic stress does to your brain, why stillness and mindfulness are a great way to start regulating your nervous system, and how that aids in the elimination of chronic stress. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Here's the first thing I want to share with y'all today. So let's start off with a testimony. So I have a program called the Go Handle Club, and it is a 365-day curriculum that's designed to help individuals who are overwhelmed eliminate chronic stress. Now, one of the things that society constantly tells us to do is to manage chronic stress, right? But I take a completely different approach. I don't believe in managing something that can be eliminated. Now, there are things in life that are going to cause us stress and pressure and disappointment, and that's normal. That's called acute stress. However, the kind of stress that kills us, and I mean literally drop dead, the kind of stress that can shave 3 to 5 years off of our lives is called chronic stress. Now, my beef is not with stress in general. Stress is a natural part of all of our lives. My beef is with chronic stress. These are these long-term circumstances that are keeping us in a constant state of high cortisol levels, a constant state of overactive nervous system, and burnout and exhaustion, right? And a lot of times, these circumstances can be any area. I have students who their chronic stress comes from their marriage. I have students who their chronic stress comes from their career, their 9 to 5. I have students who and clients who their chronic stress comes from their business as an entrepreneur. I have people whose chronic stress comes from their finances and their quality of life. I have individuals whose chronic stress comes from their physical health. So it doesn't matter the area. The point is, not all stress is meant to be managed. And so inside of the Go Handle Club, I created a curriculum. And let me tell you how it's designed and delivered. And this is what I'm asking you to start doing sooner than later. For years now, every day, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes and I meditate. I meditate and I pray, right? So prayer is talking to God for me. Okay. And then meditating is listening, right? And being still enough to hear. Now, for a lot of us, our issue with hearing is not auditory. Our issue with hearing is spiritual. We lack spiritual hearing, right? And so the reason for that, though, we think we're so busy. We think, oh, Lisa, as soon as I try and be still, my thoughts start racing. I'm like, it's okay. The challenge is we're not taking consistent time every day to work on the practice of hearing. So we might try a day or two. I tried meditation. I tried to be still. I tried whatever. I tried visualization, whatever the mindfulness practice is. And then we say, but it didn't work for me, or I really can't see a difference, or because my thoughts start racing, or I fall asleep, or, I start thinking one thing and go down a rabbit hole and I'm not focused, right? And the issue is we don't do it long enough to be focused. So I remember I heard, you guys know Alex Hormozy. With Alex Hormozy, he's an internet coach, a business coach. And I never forget, a while ago, I heard him say that you can beat most people. You can beat most people at anything if you just stick to it for a year. You can beat most people at anything if you just stick to it for a year. And he said most people overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a year. And I never forgot that, because I know how hard it is for the average human to commit to something for a year, right? See, we like to tote these ideologies about 21 days to change a habit, or 30 days to really lock it in. So do anything for 21 days, do anything for 30 days. But doing it for a year is a game changer. It's nearly impossible for you not to come out the other side different when you are consistent with a practice for a year. So that's why our Go Handle Club curriculum is a year. It's 365 days. And the call to action is our members every day, they have a Go Handle that's attached to a curriculum. And every day they open up their app. Our app is called Clarity. They open up our Clarity app, and every day they listen to a 5 to 10 minute audio only from me as I'm coaching them through the process of eliminating chronic stress. And they ideally would do it every day, immediately upon waking, when their brain is in the most susceptible state for behavior change. So the best time, if you're going to do a mindfulness practice, the best time to do it is immediately upon waking or right before bed, because that's when your subconscious mind is most susceptible to belief shifting. And so what we ask our members inside of the Go Handle Club, inside of this coaching program, is to use this curriculum immediately upon waking. Let this be your time, your time of stillness, the time that you take for yourself to be still, right? You get coached through a mindfulness practice. So I coach you guys through breathing exercises. I coach you through the process of overcoming chronic stress, navigating and regulating your own nervous system, exploring the cause of your stress, and then prompts that I ask you to think through. And those things, that's done in literally 5 to 10 minutes every single day for 365 days. So recently, we had someone in our community share. So, as part of the Go Handle Club, we have a Thursday morning gathering called the Go Handle Gathering, where members are able to come on and either share breakthroughs and testimonials that they're having as a result of taking this 10 minutes of stillness every day, or they're able to raise their hand and ask for support when they're seeking clarity. So, literally last week, y'all, like less than a week ago, like 4 days ago, we had someone raise her hand and she told a story similar to the one I told when I started today. She's like, I had 3 things happen to me in the last week or so where I responded so differently. I almost didn't recognize myself. She said, had it been a year ago or even 6 months ago, I would have responded to these situations that came up totally different. I would have been in my head about this one thing. I would have been questioning myself about this thing. I would have hesitated on making a decision about this. And she was like, in each circumstance, I responded totally different than what I would have in the past. And she said, I completely attribute that to taking this time every day with being still and present with my thoughts, being able to process the things that's going on around me, right? And being able to be more responsive than I am reactive. And that's what happens when your nervous system is regulated. I talked earlier about going into this hotel in New York City, them not having a room for me, and me not tripping out at all. I'm like, I'm sure us collectively can figure this out. And we did. And that was the moment that I knew meditation was working. The evidence didn't come while I was meditating. The evidence came in the rest of life. And I remember when I first started business coaching, the name of my business coaching program was The Other 23, right? And I changed the name because it was too confused. Every time I said it, I had to explain it, and I didn't like doing that. But let me tell you why it was called The Other 23. It was called The Other 23 because I was helping people start their health coaching businesses. And it was called The Other 23 because anybody can work out for an hour a day, but it's what you do with the other 23 hours that has the biggest impact on your health. Stillness is the same way. Anyone can force themselves to be still and meditate for 5 to 10 minutes a day, but it's what happens in the other 23 hours and 30 minutes and 45 minutes of the day that is true evidence that it's working, right? And so for a lot of you, you have to stop quitting things when you don't see results in the time that you expected. Because again, like Alex said, you can beat most people in life at anything if you just stick to something for a year. So what would happen if instead of just sticking to eating right for 21 days or 30 days or only sticking to exercise for 75 days, what if you committed to 365 days? What if you committed to a year? What would that do for you? Okay, so let me break down how stress impacts the brain, and then I'm going to tell you the science behind stillness. I took a course, like when I study something, before I start teaching it to you guys, I really ensure that I have mastery over it. So, one of the things that I did in really studying stress, and specifically the intersection of chronic stress and mindfulness, is I took a course called MBSR. It's like mindfulness based stress reduction, right? To really hone in more on the science and how mindfulness impacts our ability to regulate. Mindfulness based stress reduction. And in learning the science behind mindfulness, my mind was blown. Now, luckily, I took this course and started studying this after I already had a mindfulness practice. So what was so cool about it was I was already doing the work, and now I had the science to understand why it was working, why I was responding differently in life, right? And when I then understood what was happening biologically to help me show up differently, it completely blew my world up. It completely changed everything. So here's what stress does to your brain. When you are chronically stressed and chronically burned out, why is it so dangerous to continue to just operate as if nothing has changed? Why is it so dangerous to wake up every day and do the same things you've been doing, even though you're stressed, exhausted, burnt out, and constantly pushing past your upper limits? The primary reason is because when your stress hormones are high, cortisol, adrenaline, when your stress hormones are consistently elevated, it forces you to make decisions with your hindbrain. Your hindbrain is what we call your survival brain. When your body detects high levels of stress hormones, it believes you're in physical danger. When your body believes you're in physical danger, it switches off your forebrain, which is where you reason and problem solve with facts and data and you think things through. And it turns on your hindbrain, which is your responsive brain. This is your survival brain. Okay. And so when you are burnt out, so literally you're exhausted from that 9 to 5, you're exhausted from your business, you're exhausted for taking care of everything with your family, you're constantly burnt out and stressed out from all of your commitments, and you got to be here and you got to create that and you got to do this, and you have all of these things pulling at you constantly, and you haven't done anything to restructure your life so it's not so exhausting. So you're just getting up every day and just trying to push through, push through, push through. This is called AQ, right? You're trying to push through. You have IQ, you have EQ, and you have AQ. So you're constantly trying to adapt and push through. When you do that, first of all, you're teaching your nervous system that this is what you do. You're teaching your nervous system the habit of being dysregulated and still trying to proceed like nothing is different. So you're teaching your nervous system. But most importantly, you're trying to make decisions because nothing's changed. Like your life is still demanding a lot from you. You still got to make decisions. You still got to try and be creative at work or in your business. You still got to try and navigate conversations and relationships with your spouse, your kids, your colleagues, your friends, your family. But the difference is you're doing it from an unregulated place. So what does that mean? You're doing everything with your hindbrain, your survival brain. So you're trying to make a decision based on being in survival mode physically. This is so dangerous because you are not emotionally regulated. And when you're not, you can't reason, you can't process, you can't problem solve. Okay. This is called executive functioning. Executive functioning. So your executive functioning, a lot of big words today, y'all. Every time I do my science episodes, it gets a little busy. But your executive functioning. So if you were to look up the definition of executive functioning, you would see it includes these things like decision making and problem solving and reasoning ability. Your executive functioning is compromised. So imagine you're trying to write a book, or you're trying to create content online, or you're trying to get upward mobility in your 9 to 5, or you're trying to work through a difficult situation in your marriage or your relationship with your kids or your parents. But you're in the conversation, you're in the decision-making process from an unregulated, exhausted nervous system. I'm telling you right now, it is so dangerous. So Lisa, coach, what should I be doing instead? Listen to me. I need everybody to activate stillness on a daily basis. You have to start teaching your nervous system something different. As long as you continue business as usual, burnt out and overwhelmed, your executive functioning is compromised, which means all your decision-making ability is compromised. Like, you ever made a decision while you were exhausted, and then later you're talking to somebody or you're at work and you're in the midst of reaping the benefits or the consequences of that decision, and you're like, man, I would have decided differently if I had been in a calmer state. Now imagine doing that every day. Imagine doing that every day. And so it is so risky, especially if you are a leader or an entrepreneur or somebody, even in your 9 to 5, who has influence, or maybe you lead people and you're dysregulated. And so now you're leading from a very dangerous place. Okay. So let me explain to you why our daily ritual inside of the Go Handle Club is so effective. How have we been able to get, such great results for individuals based on this 365-day curriculum that's dedicated to eliminating chronic stress. Okay, so there's a few key points. So let me give you a little silence. So let me tell you what our ritual is. It's very simple. So our members, they receive a gold handle in the mail, and that gold handle, it comes with a QR code and an app. And so they scan that, and every day they open up, and every day there's a 5 to 10 minute prompt, right? And so ideally we tell them to sit still, we practice some intentional breathing, and they listen to the prompt. And the 365 days is a linear curriculum. So I built a curriculum into a mindfulness practice because I also recognize that I'm dealing with individuals who are burnt out and chronically stressed, and they can't commit to like another 2 hour Zoom call this week. They need something that feels easy, right? And so, in recognizing the audience that I was serving, I created the curriculum based on micro lessons over a long period of time, as opposed to macro lessons over a short period of time. So, yeah, I could have made this a 12-week program where I'm slamming content at people fast and hard, or I could make it more easy, which is micro lessons over 365 days versus macro lessons over 3 months, right? Because I understand you guys already have a lot, but something has to disrupt. You need a pattern disrupt, right? We can't keep going the way we're going. So I'm like, okay, listen, can you commit to creating time for yourself and choosing yourself first immediately upon waking? And if you can do that for me for 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to change your life in 1 year. That's the promise, right? And so that's our daily ritual inside of the Go Handle Club. Now, let me tell you why it works.
Let me ask you something. How much is stress costing you? Is it costing you your energy, your focus, your health, your peace? See, most of us have been told to manage chronic stress, but here's the truth. Managing chronic stress isn't enough. You deserve to eliminate it at the root. That's why we created the Clarity Lab, where stress meets strategy. The Clarity Lab is a 5-day immersive stress focus group. It's an experience that's designed to help you uncover your biggest stress triggers, reframe how you respond to pressure, and build a personalized strategy for sustainable health and performance. In just 5 days, you will walk away better understanding what's at the root of your stress, what limiting beliefs have been keeping you stuck, and more important, how to start moving with confidence, control, and clarity. And the best part, you won't do it alone. You'll be guided by myself and my team of coaches alongside a powerful community on the journey to do the exact same thing. So, if you're ready to stop paying the price of stress and start living with clarity, join us inside of our next Clarity Lab. Spots are limited, but you can secure yours right now at lisaangelsmith.com/Clarity Lab. That's lisaangelsmith.com/Clarity Lab. Clarity Lab is where stress meets strategy. I'll see you in the lab.
So, first piece of science, stillness regulates your nervous system. So when you wake up, your brain is transitioning, okay? Immediately upon waking, your brain is transitioning from theta waves, that's sleep, to beta waves, that's active thinking, okay? So when you immediately grab your phone, or when you immediately get out of bed and start serving your kids, your partner, your boss, whatever, start doing work, start checking emails, start cooking for other people, start ironing clothes, start driving people to school, whatever it is, you jump out of bed. When you start serving other people, you spike cortisol. Okay. So imagine not doing that. Imagine building an extra 10 minutes into your morning. So maybe you go to bed slightly earlier, you set your alarm slightly earlier, and imagine opening your eyes and it's all about you. Okay. So instead of spiking your cortisol so that you can be in service to other people, you decide to practice intentional stillness the first thing in the morning. Now, what does this do? It activates what's called your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest system. Okay. So you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, and this helps to begin to remember what I said earlier, teach your nervous system something different. Your nervous system is used to, okay, cortisol spikes and we go and we keep going until we're completely exhausted. and we do it all again tomorrow, right? But now, when I say you're teaching your nervous system, the thing that you're actually teaching your nervous system is safety. Because remember, I told you, when your stress hormones are elevated, your brain thinks you're in danger. So when you interrupt the pattern of spiking your cortisol every day, first thing in the morning, you are then teaching your nervous system, hey, boo, we're safe. No need to panic. No need for my rapid thoughts. No need for the anxiousness. We're safe. No, 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 no. I'm going to lay here and I'm going to be still. Yep. I am going through the mental things of all the things I need to do today. But you know what? I'm not going to give it my energy right now. I am going to ignore it. I'm going to take back the power from my thoughts. I'm going to take back my power from the world that's demanding all of me. No, no, no. I'm going to get some of me. I'm going to start with me. I am not going to make anything else more urgent than my health right now. When you practice that daily, you're teaching your nervous system safety. When you jump up and decide to be a slave to your thoughts as opposed to being a master of your thoughts, you are teaching your nervous system, yeah, there is something to panic about. We are in danger. Like the world is going to fall apart if I don't do everything for everybody else first and consistently. Like I'm going to be homeless if I don't get out of bed and work right away. Trust me. If you have worked on your faith muscle, you will know that it is always safe to take care of yourself. There is never, not now, one situation where it is better to be in service to other people than yourself when you need it. And when you think that, you're thinking in lack. When you think that is because your faith muscle is weak. And so if you want to start teaching your nervous system that you are safe, you have to start playing safe. You got to start playing safe. So first thing, stillness regulates your nervous system. How? Because you don't jump out of bed in service to others. So as your brain is transitioning from theta waves to beta waves, when you're coming out of that sleeping state into a waking state, okay, you're going to teach it safety by not jumping up and going crazy and running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Okay, so we're going to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. This improves emotional regulation throughout the day. I study leadership because I want to be the best leader I can be. I have a team of 4 that work with me, right? And so I want to be the best leader I can be. So I remember I was studying leadership one day, and it was like the top character trait of the best leaders in the world. Does anybody know the top character trait of the best leaders in the world? Emotional intelligence. The best leaders in the world are not the smartest. They're not the most seasoned. They are ones who have emotional regulation, emotional intelligence. This is your ability to feel your feelings without making self-sabotaging and destructive decisions. Many of us, our feelings control us more than we control them. Like there's nothing wrong with being an emotional person. You don't have to be all stoic and non-emotional to survive in the world. You can be as emotional as you want to be. But the key is, am I able to feel my feelings without making self-destructive decisions? Many of us cannot. Let me give you an example why you think you're so emotionally regulated. The last time you felt stressed out, did you feel the need to have a drink? The last time you felt angry or disappointed or sad, did you have a need to go out and eat some of your favorite comfort food? The last time you wanted to soothe yourself, did you have to have some chocolate? You don't have emotional regulation, right? Like if you need something to help you deal with your emotions, if you need a substance, if you need a behavior, the last time that you was in your feelings, did you do some impulse shopping? Okay, that's how you know. Like it ain't even that deep. Like I'm using some big words, but let me show you how this looks in real time. The number one character trait of the best leaders in the world is emotional regulation, emotional intelligence. The last time somebody angered you or ticked you off or you felt like they disrespected you, did you feel the need to pop off and get out of character? You don't have emotional regulation. So guess what? Guess what? You got work to do because you compromising a whole lot. If you an emotional eater, emotional drinker, emotional shopper, an emotional pop offer, you don't have emotional regulation. So guess what? Your emotions control you. They're the master, not you. And now you dangerous because we can't trust your decision making. I don't want to be led by you. That like I literally had a coach a couple years ago Signed up to work with her, was in her mastermind for a year. And I watched her lose emotional control on a stage during a speaking engagement one time. Definitely didn't re-sign my contract. If you don't have emotional regulation, I cannot be led by you. Can't trust you. I can't trust your decision making. So why would I trust you to advise me? Right? Stillness regulates your nervous system. Stop waking up every day and teaching your nervous system that you are in danger. Teach it that you're safe. Okay. So research in neuroscience shows that just 5 to 10 minutes of mindfulness can measurably reduce this hyperactivity in your body and in your brain. So that's why inside of our curriculum for eliminating chronic stress, what do we have? 5 to 10. Everything is science backed around here. 5 to 10 minutes of stillness, right? You're going to be guided during that stillness for part of the time. So I can coach you through eliminating stress and not just managing it. I can coach you through optimizing your health. I can coach you through activating radical obedience. And then you can be a different person at the end of 1 year. What if you just took the next 365 days to become a totally different person? Again, me and Alex says most people cannot do anything consistently for a year. Most people can't do anything consistently for 3 months. Ask me how I know as a plant-based health coach for 10 years. I tried to eat that way. I just had to have some sugar. I just had to have some meat. I just had to have some fish. I'm like, bro, you got high cholesterol and heart disease. That's the number one cause of it. Animal products. Like, it ain't even hard to understand. But guess what? We can't control our emotions. Guess what? We have no self-control. Not because you're a bad person. It's because your nervous system is so overactive. You know, one of the first things that goes out the window when your nervous system is overactive and dysregulated? Impulse control. So the reason you aren't consistent is not because you lack a consistency gene. It's because you're so dysregulated. You don't have impulse control because your nervous system is so overactive, because you're constantly teaching your body that you are in danger, because you are reacting to life, because you are burnt out and stressed out, and you are not disrupting that pattern. You have to be radically insistent about doing something different. You got to be radically insistent. Like, okay, I understand that my kid calling me. I understand that the job calling me. I understand that the emails is piling up. I understand that the to-do list is getting longer. I understand that my spouse wants this and my church wants this. And I understand that my business wants this. But you know what? I'm going to take these 10 minutes not to give a damn, because I need to regulate this. I refuse to leave this earth 3 to 5 years early just because I allow society to dictate my life expectancy. Shut it down. Shut it down. Okay, so let me give you the second part of science on why this works. Okay, and I want to give you a cool example. Okay, so mindfulness rewires your brain. So the first piece of evidence was stillness regulates your nervous system, right? By activating your parasympathetic nervous system, and you're not jumping out of bed to serve everybody. So you're being still as your brain makes that transition from theta to beta. Okay, y'all got it? Step 2, how does mindfulness rewire your brain? So consistent mindfulness practice every day strengthens your prefrontal cortex. This is neuroscience, okay? It strengthens your prefrontal cortex. That's your decision making. That's your focus brain, right? Your prefrontal cortex. That is your forebrain. Your forebrain. Remember I said when you're stressed out, you make decisions with your hindbrain. When you are regulated, you make decisions with your forebrain, okay? And so consistent stillness, it helps to regulate that prefrontal cortex. Strengthen it is a better word. Strengthen it, okay? So you decrease activity, all the rumination, the overthinking, the stuff that causes us stress. Most of the time, when you're overthinking, I'm gonna tell you what's really happening. Let me use plain language. You're in the future. So when you're in the future, that's what causes anxiousness, right? So a lot of times, so typically depression comes from reviewing the past, and anxiousness comes from rehearsing the future. Okay, so when you're constantly doing that and you're not ding, 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 present, you're not where your feet are planted, right? It causes rumination and overthinking. Okay. This is an episode that's worth listening back to because it's science heavy. All right. But it causes rumination and overthinking. So when you do decide to intentionally be still, regardless of how many thoughts are going through your mind, regardless of how long your to-do list is, regardless of how many people are demanding more from you, when you decide to intentionally be still every day, immediately upon waking, you're going to regulate and strengthen that prefrontal cortex. It's going to sharpen your thinking. You're going to be able to establish and enforce boundaries. Some of y'all, we be like, you need boundaries, you need boundaries. Yeah, but if you can't enforce them, what's the point? Like, you create them and you never enforce them. So you don't need boundaries, you need to enforce boundaries, okay? You have less emotional impulsivity. So a lot of us are emotionally impulsive. We let our emotions dictate how we are reacting to things around us. But when you strengthen that prefrontal cortex, that forebrain, you don't have as much impulsivity. You have greater clarity under pressure. Listen, I run a company. I have 4 people on my team that answer to me. We have a community full of clients and students, right? We have organizational partnerships and relationships. That could be a lot of pressure, right? And as many of you guys know, I'm currently at Princeton in school, new development last month, right? So I just decided to go solidify my education in theology. So I'm at Princeton, right? So imagine the amount of pressure. I'm like, okay, I got to be here for my clients on Thursdays for Go Handle Gathering. Okay, I got private one-on-one clients. Okay, I got to coach these people in their business, right? I got some moving pieces, right? As we continue to simplify our business model more and more, I still, as a leader, have obligations and responsibilities. Oh my God, this organization just reached out to me and they want me to come speak, right? So I got an organization that just reached out to me. They want me to come speak in New Orleans this summer in August, right? Another organization wants me to come speak in Connecticut in November, right? So I'm managing those opportunities. Now, imagine all of the decision making that comes with that. Not to mention, I got friends, I got family. Like, I still want to have a good time because life is not just about working. Okay. So I'm trying to have a good time in these streets. But not to mention, I promote health, I teach health, I believe in health. So wait a minute, I got to get my workout in. I got to eat like I got some sense. I got to drink my water and I got to make sure my edges is growing. Like, there's a lot of responsibility. Now, imagine doing all of that with a dysregulated nervous system. Imagine every time you got to make a decision, every time you get an opportunity, you're like, it's too much. I can't take it. I'm about to die. Somebody stop. Help, help, help. I don't have help. It's not enough time. It's not enough anything. Oh my God, give me caffeine. Oh my God, give me energy drinks. I ain't even got time to feed myself right. Give me fast food. Oh my God, forget this sleep. 3 hours is enough. I'm going to get up because I got work to do. Nothing can wait. Everything must happen now, now, now. Like, bruh, you're killing me. Okay, you're killing me. And this is why your edges ain't growing. All right. And it's too much. It's too much. So listen to me. Stillness every day. I don't care who's pulling on you. I don't care what happens. It needs to stop. So that's the second piece of science. Okay. So mindfulness rewires your brain so you don't have so much emotional impulsivity. You have sharper thinking and clarity under pressure. I just told you guys all the things that I am responsible for in this season. And when I tell you, guess what I did yesterday? So y'all know I now live in Jersey, right? So yesterday I went over to Brooklyn. It was like an hour and a half drive and just spent the day in Brooklyn. And then guess what I did when I came back to Jersey? Had dinner with friends at my place. Like, I promise you, and I'm running a whole company. I got whole school. I got papers due this week. Like, it's stuff going on. But guess what I'm not about to do? I am not about to stop having a leisurely life. I am not going to stop prioritizing pleasure. I am still going to enjoy myself. Let me take a commercial break. Y'all, I got to tell y'all about this plant-based restaurant I ate at in Brooklyn yesterday. Child, why y'all ain't tell me? I should have been moved to New York, okay? Or a couple miles away from New York. Let me tell you something. Yesterday, I ate at this place called Healthy as a Mother, HAAM for short. It is plant-based Caribbean cuisine, okay? Bruh. Now, what's so crazy is 2 days, almost back to back, and I had some phenomenal plant-based food in New York. So on Friday night, I had dinner with Kiwi in Manhattan, and we went to a Mediterranean restaurant called, I don't know how to pronounce it, y'all, Anixi, Anixi. I'm going to post pictures of my food probably this week and tag the restaurant on Instagram. But it's Anixi, plant-based Mediterranean food. Bro, we had kebabs, all plant-based. Steak, chicken, lamb, kofta. Man, the hummus, the unmatched is some of the best plant-based food I ever had until on yesterday, I went to Brooklyn and I went to this restaurant called HAAM, and it stands for Healthy as a Mother. And plant-based Caribbean cuisine, y'all, plant-based oxtails, peas and rice, plantains, cabbage. Then I had this special code that got me like a free side. And so for my free side, I had the baked mac and cheese or whatever, right? Child, if y'all don't do nothing else in your life, find a way to live a little and get your tail over to New York, okay? Go to Anixia in Manhattan for Mediterranean food. Go to Ham in Brooklyn for plant-based Caribbean food. I don't know why y'all don't think I eat good as a vegan. Child, my food do not be bland. And we got plans to go to another place. We're going to go to a Broadway show in a couple of weeks. And we have another place that comes highly recommended called Aunt and Uncle in Brooklyn, another plant-based Caribbean place. Like, when I tell you New York City is so vegan friendly, like, every time I come here, New York is so vegan friendly. And y'all be killing. Like, I found a plant-based Ethiopian place I'm going to try. Like, it's given, okay? So look, what I'm thinking we're going to do later this year is I'm going to do a meetup in NYC, and we are going to do a Go Handle gathering in person. And we can definitely do a meetup and maybe try one of these restaurants together and have a good time. Oh, it's Anixi, Wanda. Anixi is the name of the restaurant in Manhattan. It's right down the street from Penn Station. So I took the train to Penn Station and then I went there. Man, I'm telling y'all. So we got to do a meetup in New York City and have us a good time, a plant-based good time. Okay. Let's get back to the programming so I can wrap this up. Okay. So it's two more things I want to share with y'all. It's a third little piece of science I want to share with you guys. And then I want to share with you like how you should approach stillness and meditation and mindfulness and visualization. Okay. I do visualization throughout the day. I do meditation every day. And I've been doing this for years. And it has really changed my disposition. It has really helped to regulate my nervous system. And so I want the same thing for you guys. So here is the next piece. Two more things. So when you choose yourself first every day, it lowers chronic stress. It lowers the chronic stress load. So this conditions your body and your brain to associate mornings with peace and stillness instead of urgency, right? And so you reestablish authority internally, you interrupt the stress conditioning that's happened as you've been burnt out for so long, and you start building self-trust. You know, when you make decisions from a dysregulated state and you then have to live with the consequences of those decisions because you made it while you was tired or fed up or pissed off or whatever, what it does is you also teach yourself that you can't trust your own decision making. So I was working with a client one-on-one, and this has happened to me with two one-on-one clients. They both came to me to work with me privately, and they said, I don't think I'm a good decision maker. And I can't trust my own decisions, right? Whether it's picking a partner, whether it's decisions for my family as like a parent, whether it is career decisions, like, because I keep ending up in these circumstances that suck, right? And so I've had two people attribute their stress to them being bad decision makers. And it's not that you're a bad decision maker, it's that you're making decisions in an unhealthy state. Do you hear the difference? So you're not a bad decision maker. You're just trying to make a decision from a dysregulated, overwhelmed, burnt out nervous system. And when you do that, again, your body is in reactive mode. So you're making decisions with your hindbrain instead of your forebrain, instead of that prefrontal cortex. So there's a biological reasons why your decisions are causing you to end up in these sucky circumstances. You're not a bad decision maker. You're unrested. You can get to a place where you can trust yourself and your decisions again. And that place is called a regulated nervous system. That place is called elimination of chronic stress. That place is called rest, right? So you can get into a place where you can trust yourself again. It's not that you're a bad decision maker. You're a tired decision. You're a burnt out decision. You're a dysregulated decision maker. Does that, okay, thank you. That makes sense. But both of these individuals, they were like, I need somebody else to make my decisions for me because I am not good at it. I'm like, baby, you just need a week worth of naps, some water, some fruit, some fiber, some nature, some movement, and some purpose. Shout out to radical obedience. When we don't do purposeful or meaningful work, it compromises our ability to reach self-actualization. So all of this stuff is tied together. You're not a bad decision maker. You're an unrested decision maker. You're a burnt out decision maker. You're a stressed out decision maker because you're making emotional, impulsive decisions. Okay. So when you take that time every day to be still, you can process your feelings, process your circumstances. You can think critically. Some of the best decisions I make are me just being in nature. I have this beautiful canal behind my place. And I was out there jogging yesterday and walking along the canal and smelling the trees and saying good morning to other joggers, right? That does something for your health. But when you have decided to believe you don't have time for practices like that because you're thinking in lack, because your faith muscle is weak, then you never have the opportunity to heal from the stress and the burnout. So I need you to understand you are not a bad decision maker. You are a dysregulated decision maker. Okay. And final piece of science is self-prioritization increases your performance. So I'm telling you guys, I used to really and still I give God the glory for all we've been able to do in business, all the success we have and all the success we're going to have, right? And I'm so grateful for all of the clients, students, opportunities, speaking engagements that I have been afforded. And part of that, though, part of the reason we've been afforded many opportunities, part of the reason we have clients that stay with us for years, I'm so grateful. God is so amazing. Part of that is because of my performance. Now, one of the things several of you have heard me say is that I operate with a spirit of excellence. I went live inside of our community Clarity on Saturday. And I go live every first Saturday of the month inside of our community. And somebody had asked a question. It was a live Q&A. So somebody had asked a question about perfectionism versus excellence, right? And I told them the difference between the two. And we started talking through a spirit of excellence. So part of the reason I have been given some of the opportunities I've been given on stages and business opportunities, that part of the reason a lot of our clients stay with us and come back is because of my performance. It is my excellence when I show up. Now, my excellence comes from partially from the fact that I have a self-prioritization protocol in my life. Self-prioritization increases performance. Because I have a self-prioritization protocol in my life, it allows me to perform better for the world. Now, you guys know this in theory, but y'all don't practice it, right? So a great athlete, studies have shown, they've done a lot of studies on visualization, for example, and phenomenal athletes have a visualization practice. They visualize themselves competing. They visualize themselves winning before it actually happened. Executives who practice reflective time make sure that they make strategic decisions by being reflective beforehand. This is a protocol of self-prioritization. Leaders who have mindfulness practices score higher in emotional intelligence. Remember earlier, I told you emotional intelligence was the number one trait of the best leaders of the world. So everyone is taking time with themselves to study themselves, to be alone with their thoughts, to critically think, to breathe, to process. When you are dysregulated and you are constantly telling yourself, you don't have time for this. There's not enough time. There's not enough support. You don't have the luxury of this. When you think self-prioritization is a luxury afforded to only a few, that is thinking in lack. And that you're typically thinking in lack because you think you are responsible for your success in life and you have given nothing over to God. And so your faith muscle is weak. And as a result, you don't prioritize yourself. So as a result, you don't have time to process your thoughts, your emotions, and your circumstances. So as a result, you only make decisions from a reactive place, from your hindbrain, instead of with high executive functioning from your forebrain. So as a result, your performance drops. So as a result, you don't get invited back to stages. Your performance drops. So as a result, your clients don't re-sign with you. Your performance drops. So as a result, you're no longer a candidate for that promotion at your 9 to 5. Your performance drops. So as a result, now your spouse is talking about separation. Your performance drops. So now your kids and your family members resent you. Your performance drops. So now your health is on a decline. I'm talking about performance in every area of your life, not just your career. Self-prioritization is the protocol that changes all of that. Did you bring your edge support? You guys got to know when you come to Monday Morning Keynotes, you need edge control. You need emotional support, T. Do you have your edge support? Do you have your emotional support, T? I was just talking to you. Your performance has dropped, which is why you are not getting the opportunities for love, the opportunities for family, the opportunities in your career, the opportunities in your healing, the favor that comes from relinquishing control and being radically obedient to what your body needs first. Did you bring your edge control? You better run and get it. Did you get your pearls? Are you clutching them? I'm talking to you. Your performance sucks. Your performance sucks because you're tired. I get it. I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying your performance sucks. And you get up every day trying to perform again, and it ain't working. You burning out. The energy drink ain't working no more. The coffee not working no more. The chocolate is not working no more. The cussing people out, it ain't work. Like it's not working because you keep trying to do what? Manage stress. Like the long weekend, it ain't working. The FMLA, it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. The cocktail hour, the happy hour, so you can decompress, it's not gonna work. The yoga class ain't gonna work. You keep trying to manage it. You gotta be radical with your intervention. Enough is enough. Stop trying to manage something that needs to be eliminated. Okay? I'm sick of us being tired. And you know what I'm sick of more than us being tired? More than anything. Like, I can't talk about this for long because it brings me to tears. I'm sick of us dying from stress. Guess what happened? Let me tell you, story time. Real quick, 2-minute story. Remember, I just told you guys that an organization in New Orleans or organization reached out to me to speak at their conference this year in New Orleans in August, right? So I had a phone call with her a couple days ago so we could discuss the event. And she's like, we want you to come and we want you to talk about stress and we want you to talk about eliminating stress. I said, say less, right? I can do it with my eyes closed. Do I need to be awake? Because I can do that with my eyes closed, okay? And she was like, the conference is in the hospitality industry. And she was like, I had a colleague who had, Black man, who had reached the highest executive leadership position that a Black man has ever reached in the Marriott hotel chain. I think Marriott is the biggest hotel chain in the world. So he had reached the highest level. No Black person had ever reached that level on the executive tier, on the executive track in Marriott's history. And she said he was overwhelmed and he was stressed out. And I think it was right around COVID, post-COVID. So there was a lot. You guys really know, like hotels lost a lot of business during COVID because we was inside, right? And so she said it was really a really, really, really stressful time. Young man, I think early 50s, if I can recall the story. It was either 40s or 50s, but either way, young, right? She said he was taking a walk around the block and dropped dead from a heart attack. She said it was stress. I need you guys to understand. Stress, the ultimate ending for a lot of people, more than you realize, is death. Because stress, chronic stress, causes chronic disease. So when you have those high levels of stress hormones elevated in your body, it manifests on the cellular level. It disrupts the homeostasis of your body, and it can lead to a diagnosis like cancer. I need you to understand. And so he dropped dead from stress, okay? That's what I'm sick of more than anything. Now, you guys know I spent the first 10 years of my career as a health coach. So I spent the first 10 years of my career treating the diseases that a lot of stress caused. Now I'm spending the next 10 years of my career treating the source and not the symptom. When I was treating high blood pressure, when I was treating type 2 diabetes, when I was treating breast cancer, when I was treating heart disease, right? That was the results of stress. Now I've decided, like, let me switch this and let me get to the source. So hopefully we can stop this from turning into a diagnosis. So now I'm coming on and I'm trying to teach you guys how serious this is. You cannot afford to not have stillness every day. Trust me when I tell you, because we get these diagnoses and we just think, oh, it runs in my family, or it's just a part of life, or that's what happens when you get older. You end up with something, you're on the medication. No. That's not how it works. So I'm sick and tired of us succumbing to the consequences of chronic stress, which is why I'm here. So I need you guys to understand the importance of taking 5 to 10 minutes every day to prioritize yourself. Stillness, mindfulness, meditation, visualization, treating your nervous system. Now, let me tell you why the Go Handle Club is so different. We're different because all of our daily prompts, all of our daily moments, we call them moments of clarity. So all of our daily moments are connected. The way I approach this differently than like a meditation app or something, which is great because I've used those plenty. But I decided that I didn't want this to be a management strategy. When you do like a daily mindfulness practice through like a meditation app, they're just disconnected pieces of mindfulness. What I did is I created a curriculum which every moment builds on the next one to take you guys through 3 phases of healing. It's healing the body, it's eliminating stress, it's activating radical obedience. We call it the HER method. So mine is curriculum-based mindfulness, right? And so it's still short amount of value over a longer period of time. It's still using that breathing, that calmness, that mindfulness time in the morning, but we're doing it curriculum based so that it's not a management technique and it's an elimination strategy. Okay. And it's working. I've never been more proud of the work that we're doing, but I needed you guys to understand the science behind it and what's happening when you don't. And I started our conversation today telling you guys a story about the moment I knew that my meditation practice was working. And so let me give you guys an analogy to end today that maybe will help you understand this better. Okay. You know how a lot of people don't have a consistent meditation practice because they're like, my thoughts just race and I can't focus, I can't sit still, or I fall asleep. Like it feels useless. So most people give up, right? So most people don't stay consistent with any type of mindfulness practice. They'll do it, but it'll be inconsistent. It'll be here and there. It'll be in and out. But I told you guys, I got to the hotel that day in New York. They didn't have a room for me. And my response was just so super chill. The issue got fixed. And I was like, whoa, this mindfulness thing works, right? So it's similar. It's like that in health as well. Like you guys know how you can like say switch over to a plant-based diet and you have like a health goal that you're trying to achieve, but it doesn't feel like anything's changing. Like, look, I done took all the sugar out of my diet. I done took all the junk food out of my diet and I'm, doing all the things, but like the scale isn't moving and I like nothing don't seem like it's different. Right. But I'm exercising, I'm trying to eat better, I'm drinking my water, and I'm listening to other people's testimonials and they seem like it's working for them, but it don't seem like it's working for me. Right. And this has happened. This is not even a hypothetical situation. I've had plenty of students say that when they take, like, they might do our 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, or they come into our farm to table plant-based coaching program. And they be like, I'm hearing other people's testimonials, but it don't seem like I'm getting the same results. It's not working for me. And then guess what happened? I had somebody do this recently. She then had a doctor's appointment and she got blood work done. And she came back. We had a conversation and she came back and she was like, I was wrong. I said, what? She said, I just got blood work done from the doctor and all of my numbers have dropped. She said, I had no idea. I really thought it wasn't making a difference. I really thought it wasn't working. She was like, my bad, like my bad for complaining, my bad for, trying to get you to give me more to do because this ain't working. She was like, my bad. She was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. My markers for this have went down. My markers for that has went down. My doctor's on track to do this for me because this is changing. Like it was boom, boom, boom. But the only way, listen, here's the takeaway, guys. Lean into this part. The only way she knew it was working was she had to get a test to see the results. Come on now, hold on. This is the moment in the pulpit where we bring it home. The only way she knew her new diet was working for her, like other people had evidence on the outside without going to the doctor. But for her, the only way she knew it was working was she had to get tested. The only way I knew my mindfulness was working was when I got to that hotel and they told me at 9 p.m. at night in the middle of Tribeca that I didn't have a room. I had to get tested. Sometimes you just have to be committed to the process, committed to the protocol, have enough faith to believe that something's changing, even though you can't see it. And maybe, just maybe for you, the results won't be revealed until you get tested. I'm telling you right now, y'all give up. We give up on things so quickly. We want this quick fix. We proclaim we burnt out. We proclaim we at our wits' end. We proclaim we want something to change. Then somebody gives us a strategy and somebody tries to make it easy. I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to make this too complicated. I'm going to give you a 10-minute coaching session every day for 365 days. Just put me in your earbuds every day for 365 days. Lisa, do I need to? No, you don't even need a notebook. But Lisa, maybe I need to come to a Zoom call once a week for 3 hours. No, we ain't doing a 3-hour Zoom call. Well, maybe I need to be in person. Well, maybe I should get an accountability partner. No, put me in your ear. For 10 minutes a day, for 365 days, I curated a mindfulness curriculum that's going to help you go from managing stress and burnout to a regulated nervous system and completely free of chronic stress. And sometimes the only way you're going to know it's working is when you get tested. Come on. But like Alex Hormozy said, most people cannot do anything consistently for a year. So what we do, after 1 month, I got too busy. After one, it was too simple. I want something simple, but then when it's too simple, I want it to be complicated because I need to feel like it's working. Do you guys know why some hair care companies put the mint and stuff inside of the shampoo? There's a psychological effect that happens when it tingles. When it tingles, you feel like it's working. And some of y'all feel like if it ain't no tingle, it ain't working. And I'm telling you, just have enough faith to believe in the person you trusted who's been studying it for years. Like, you ain't got to trust everybody. But once you decide you trust somebody because you've been listening to them and you vibing with them and you feel like they know what they're talking about. And other testimonies have said she know what she's talking about. If you're going to trust me, trust me. Stop picking it up and putting it down. Stop picking it up and putting it down. Pick it up and decide I'm going to be radical about my intervention because this chronic stress, this burnout, me constantly going through bouts of depression and anxiety, my relationships being fractured because I'm so emotionally unstable, my career sucking, but I don't have the courage or the confidence to do something different because I'm so emotionally unstable. That has finally become enough for you. Trust the process and just know you might not know what's working until you get to a hotel at 9 p.m. at night in the middle of New York City and they tell you ain't got no room and you be like, it's all good. We'll figure it out now, won't we? That's how I knew it was working. I had to get tested. I hope this resonated. Listen, this was the science of stillness. I'm telling you guys, this is the exact mechanism that I use to get out of this cycle of chronic stress in my life. Some things have to be eliminated. And sometimes you got to be coached through that because you've only been taught how to manage stress. So if that is something that you're looking for, then I want you to join us in the next stress elimination lab. And I'm going to teach you my process. The next lab starts June 22nd. It's a 5-day stress elimination lab. June 22nd to June 27th. You're going to be with me Monday through Friday for an hour and 15 minutes a night. How many hours is that? 5 plus 15, 30, 45, 60. That's about 6 hours and 15 minutes. 6 hours and 15 minutes. I can change your life. And I'm saying this because we've had several other cohorts of the lab and I have a laundry list of testimonials. Every time somebody completes the lab, we give them an evaluation form. And we have I'm telling you right now, I've been studying this and doing this for a year. I helped my coach, Dr. Eric Thomas, eliminate chronic stress, right? He talks about it all the time. I'm telling you right now, it's killing you. It was killing him. He had high blood pressure and his doctor told him he was about to be on a machine, right? Sleep apnea, the machine. He was about to be on that. They was about to give him high blood pressure medication. He was stressed out for being a 7-figure entrepreneur trying to run a company. And I said, Coach, here's what you need to do. Your POV is wrong. Your perception is killing you. And he did what he needed to do. We got receipts over here. The receipts ain't a problem. The receipts ain't a problem. Your belief in that things can change is what needs to happen first. You ain't even got to do it with me. But please, please, even if you don't make me your coach, if you stressed out and burnt out and overwhelmed and you constantly trying to push past your upper limits, commit today to doing something differently. You can't keep going at this pace. People is dropping dead. People is getting diagnosed with disease. People is getting diagnosed with cancer. People is eating themselves to death because they drinking and eating sugar to cope with the stress. Like, I had to have some sweet. I had to have a burger and fries. I had to have that. If all of this has more control over you than you have over it, stop it in its tracks today. Take your power back from these incessant and ruminous thoughts. It is time for things to change. People of color are disproportionately impacted by chronic stress because systemically the whole country is built for us to be. It's not even all of our fault, but I know one thing. This ain't going to be the thing that runs in my family. I know one thing. I'm not about to teach my offspring how to be reactive. I'm not going to teach my offspring how to get out of bed and serve other people versus serving themselves. I know one thing. I'm not going to teach them that they have to hustle past exhaustion just to make enough to live. Reduce your lifestyle if it take all that. Go down to a 1-bedroom. Get out of that neighborhood. Stop driving that. If all of that stuff is causing stress, change it. Stress kills. Point blank, period. Okay. Let me get out of here today, y'all. I done came on here and said a lot, sometimes too much. Okay. I see a question. Ooh, Sandy, why don't you tell us more? Let's look at Sandy's comment here on YouTube. Sandy said, I just experienced emotional dysregulation last night. Now I'm mad at myself for my reaction. Don't be mad at yourself because you're here to learn. And now here's where you should be mad, Sandy. So you had something that triggered you last night and you don't like the way you reacted. Don't be mad at that. But what I do want you to be mad at is how you react when it happens again. Now, how do you react now that you've had this experience? We've talked about this, right? You're learning something new. You're realizing that when that happens, it's because I'm dysregulated and my emotions got more control over me than I have over them. Now, if it happens again, the next trigger, and you have an unflattering reaction, now you should be mad at yourself. Only be mad at yourself when you have the behavior after you know better. Now is a problem. Now we both mad. I'm mad as your coach. You mad as you. You mad as you. I'm mad as your coach. Okay, so forgive yourself for last night, Sandy. It's all good. Like, we all trying to grow as humans, right? We ain't got to judge it. But be mad at yourself for what happens after you know better. Okay. Stacy says, quick question. I wake up, bathroom, oil pool, make my bed, meditate for 20 minutes. My mind might be out of theta by then. Oh, you're asking kind of what order should you meditate because you do all that other stuff first. So my suggestion is to definitely do the meditation first. Like, do the oil pulling, make the bed. I mean, wake up and go to the bathroom, do all your biological needs. But then after that, like, you want to be as close to the waking state, or as still the better way to say it is as close to the sleeping state as possible when you go into meditation. When your brain is still in that theta, converting into that beta phase, like, that's the best place, the best time to feed your subconscious brain new programming. Okay. So if you have a belief that I'm not enough, imposter syndrome, if you think in lack all the time, if you think in scarcity all the time, if you have personal insecurities, if you have things you're trying to heal from, and so you're trying to work through our curriculum in the Go Handle Club to heal from that stuff, the best time to put me in your ear and then to be silent as close to waking up as possible. So I would say reverse a little bit of that, put the oil pulling and the bed making after the meditation. Okay. All right. That was a good question. Any other questions before we hop off today, guys? We had a full day, honey. I done gave y'all vegan restaurant recommendations in New York City. We had a good time. We done had a good time. I'm so happy y'all stayed on because I was like, this episode might be too science heavy for some people, but I still got to cater to my people who really need the science to understand why we do the things we do, because everything I teach and every program I create is rooted in science. And so the science is important for me, so I know it's important for some people in my audience. Okay, Natasha says, so after today, I shouldn't pop off on nobody no more. Listen, I'm not telling you not here. Let's be very clear about popping off, Natasha. I'm actually not saying you should never pop off again. Believe it or not, right? Believe it or not, despite what I've been saying for the past hour and 27 minutes. What I'm saying is you shouldn't pop off from a dysregulated state. As long as your pop off is calculated, let it fly. Because let me tell you something. Some people only learn from a pop off. What I don't want to happen is that you're popping off because it's an instant emotional reaction and you later wish you had reacted better. You feel me? So let's put some rules and regulations, because sometimes you got to pop off, right? And that's okay, because I have definitely had premeditated pop offs. Like, I'm about to go in here and pop off. This is how I feel about it later. Okay. But make sure I say this. I'm not going to attack them as a person, but I am going to attack their behavior. Okay. That's a pre-calculated pop off. So as long as the pop off is premeditated and thought through, have at it. Because what I'm not about to act like is that sometimes stuff don't get done with a pop off. Okay. Amen. Okay. Let me see the next question. Lachey says, which should be first, prayer or meditation? Love this. Love this. So I typically do meditation first, and then I go into my prayer after. But you choose your order, which feels best for you, Lachey. But I usually go into silence immediately upon waking, like really trying to optimize that window right after we wake up where we're not fully awake, and we really want our subconscious mind to adopt something different. So I meditate first, and then I go into my guided prayer. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Terry. Terry says, my advice is if you need to eliminate stress, take the stress lab, then hop on in a few weeks in a month, get in the Go Handle go get that stress under control first. Yes, absolutely. The lab was lit. Terry took the lab with us. This year we did, our last lab was in March. So our last lab was in March. Our next one is this month in June. Our next one after that, I have no idea. Remember, y'all, I'm in school now. I can't make promises on scheduling anymore. I told y'all last week that the biggest challenge for me being back in school here at Princeton is that I don't have complete time freedom anymore. So I have no idea. When our next stress elimination lab is going to be. So this ain't a sales tactic. I literally don't know when the next one will be because our next set of classes is starting soon. And then in the fall, we got to be full time. So I can't even promise another stress elimination lab this year, right? Because guess what I'm not about to do? Stress myself out. Amen. Before I got into Princeton, I was going to do a stress elimination lab every month. I told my team, I told Kiwi, I told Tiff, I'm like, we're going to do a stress elimination lab every month so we can help people, as many people as possible. Within a year, guess what? Got into Princeton. Guess what? I'm on my second one this year and we 6 months into the year. And guess what? I don't care. Like, because I'm not about to be stressed out. I'm going to service myself. I'm going to service y'all. And we're going to all do it with a regulated nervous system. Okay, with that, I should probably leave. I don't want to lose no more credibility. I should probably get on up out of here. Let me skedaddle, y'all. I'm about to skedaddle. God bless y'all. I love y'all. I really thought this episode was kind of going to fall flat because it was so sciencey. And I know there's like only a handful of people that typically geek out with the science like I do. So for y'all to enjoy it this much was such a blessing. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Again, this was part 3 in this series about how to combat chronic burnout and overwhelm as a leader, high performer, and entrepreneur. So I appreciate you guys so much. Until then, bye y'all.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Radical Obedience Podcast. If today's conversation resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who may need a little more peace, clarity, and courage in their life. And if you're ready to discover what's really driving your chronic stress and overwhelm, and what's required to make your obedience more radical, visit lisaangelsmith.com/radical obedience, or just click the link in the show notes to take our radical obedience assessment. Until next time, remember, the goal isn't to control everything. The goal is to surrender completely, trust deeply, and obey boldly. I'll see you in the next episode.